r/Life of Norman by the Bearded Brit. While on the highway, Norman is feeling blue. The sky is grey and composed of rain clouds spanning as far as his eyes can see. On either side of Norman are big trees and small trees, tall trees and short trees, trees with many leaves and trees with not so many leaves, trees that stand upright and trees that stand and hang their tip-tops to the left. Norman has an itch. Just then, as he scanned the 1,000th tree to meander past his driver's side window, he has an itch to drive really, really, really fast. Faster than the speed limit even. Norman knows the speed limit is 60. He knows, but he doesn't care. I don't care that the speed limit is 60, he says to himself. I need a little excitement, and Norman had ruined my radio with that hairball, so I have no other choice, he says aloud. I'm going to kick this into high gear. Norman presses down on the gas pedal. His heart races faster than his car. Blood courses through his veins like pressure water through PVC pipe. His pupils dilate. A high from the adrenaline jump, starting this new and never before seen Norman. Norman imagines a crowd like those fancy stock cars on the TV sometimes have, that he sees as he clicks on towards Jeopardy. NASCAR? No, that can't be right. Norman tights his grip on the wheel. He's afraid he's going too fast and a cop will pull him over any second. He has to resist the itch. He has to slow down. I have to slow down. This is too far over the speed limit. Oh God, now I know why they set these the way they do. No one should ever go this fast. Norman quickly glanced again at the speedometer to be sure he was right the first time. And indeed he was. 60 3/4. Norman decelerates safely to 59 and re-engaged cruise control. Norman's heart was beating so fast. He smiles. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. Norman loved to recycle. He knew that each and every item he recycled was saving the life of a sea turtle. Every plastic bag he didn't use was preventing another whale from starving with a belly of plastic. Every time he recycled, Norman felt like a superhero. Recycling man. It was 7:23 a.m. Norman opened his curtains and looked out to the street where he saw Andrew, the man next door, filling his bins in preparation for bin collection day. Norman watched in horror as Andrew emptied his box labelled things to be recycled into his regular waste bin. Norman's eyes locked onto a beer can as it hit the rim of the regular bin and bounced onto the floor next to the actual recycling bin. Maybe now Andrew would realise his error and put the remaining items in the correct bin. He did not. Norman's fists clenched. We need to recycle, he muttered urgently to himself. Norman's heart began to thump angrily in his chest. He had seen Andrew mismanage his recycling before, and Norman knew that today was the day he would finally confront Andrew about it. A bead of boiling sweat had formed on Norman's forehead. His hands were clenched so hard they were white. His heart was now beating furiously in his chest. Norman strode towards the door, each footstep pounding into the ground forcefully. We need to save the planet for future generations, Norman hissed through his clenched teeth. Norman's pulse was racing. He could feel the adrenaline surging through his body. He felt powerful. His clammy hands squeezed the front door handle, and with the strength of Hercules, he swung the door open. Andrew had noticed the beer can on the floor and was bending over to pick it up. As he did, he noticed Norman opening the front door. He quickly straightened up, and whilst pointing to the can in his hand, he jokingly shouted over to Norman, "Ha! This little guy almost escaped." Norman's mind was wading through a million ways to respond. Would he mention rising sea levels? Would he open with shrinking wildlife habitats? But before he could stop himself, Norman's mouth opened. Good thing you spotted it," he shyly replied. After his morning shower, Norman dressed himself for work. It was Monday morning, and the new man report was due. He spent the weekend finalising some details. He didn't mind working on the weekend. He was able to watch CSI while working, and enjoyed the fresh start Monday morning. Norman got into his car to begin the commute. cars always tend to reflect their owners. Norman had bought his car used. It was reliable and efficient. It had a few quirks from its age, but it was a dependable tool. Norman left his neighbourhood and through the twists and turns began his merge onto the interstate to work. Interstates in cities were always filled during the morning commute. Norman couldn't remember the last time he used the interstate to leave his state. It was mostly a way to work. Norman merged into the main lane early, finding a nice spot behind a work truck. Another man headed on his way to work, Norman thought to himself. Sitting to his left was a large 18-wheeler. A man already on his work, Norman thought, a smile on his face. To his right, a sensible minivan pulled up next to him. The lane to merge was coming to an end, and it had to get on. Norman slowed, never in a rush, leaving with enough time to spare that just made sense. However, the van next to him slowed as well. Norman was confused, leaving enough room for the van to slip ahead. Thinking that the van wanted behind, Norman pressed the accelerator gently, but so did the van. Norman gripped his steering wheel. The lane to merge was ending. The van had to come into the flow, but as Norman moved, so did the van. Finally, the ever-courteous one, Norman slowed to a full stop on the interstate. The van inched its way in front and waved with a grateful gesture. Norman waved back. Just then, as Norman pressed the accelerator again, "Honk!" screamed past him. A blue sports car zoomed past and flung itself in front of Norman. His heart racing, Norman let out his breath slowly, not realising that he took a large gasp of air. This is why Norman always leaves a full car length in front of him. The rest of the way to work was without issue, but Norman was on edge. He set his laptop in its cradle and printed the copy of the man report next to it. He took his office mug, a sensible white ceramic piece, to fill it with a quick brew of coffee. While he knew it was filled with caffeine, it always settled his nerves. At his desk, Norman set his cup of coffee down and booted his laptop. As it booted, he reached for his mug and in his distracted state accidentally knocked it over. The brown coffee crept across the desk and soaked into the man report. Filled with frustration and still shaking from the morning drive, Norman released his rage in a rare expletive. "Shoot," he whispered through his teeth. Norman went to the digital copy of the man report on his computer and sent it to the office printer for a reprint. So much wasted paper, he thought to himself, as he went to get the second cup of coffee and the second print. If you like this video, let me know by pressing the like button or by leaving me a violently rude comment. For more of these videos, you can subscribe to this channel as I aim to post 2 to 3 videos a week. Don't forget to let me know your favourite stories and I'll include them in future videos. As usual, you'll find links to the stories featured in the description below. Also included are links to the recording gear that I use. Ta-ra!